Hello everyone, how are you all? Hopefully you can hear us.
Hi.
Evening, Emily. Evening, Tim.
Hi.
Hey, good to see you. I'm just going to mute everybody, but give us a thumbs up that you can see and hear us. I can see some lovely friends joining us this evening. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so everybody, my name is Emily Mascarenas, for anyone who doesn't know, and this is Tim.
Yeah, that's right, well done.
And our page is Blooming and Glowing. That's the name of our oil community. And we are doTERRA Blue Diamond leaders. And we are parents. We've got 3 gorgeous boys, haven't we?
Yeah.
They keep us busy. And we are very, very passionate about the work that we do. And that is sharing doTERRA with the world, okay? So we want to tell you a little bit more about how this works, because it is a fantastic thing to be part of. We've been part of doTERRA for about 3 years now, and our lives are very different because of it, and we're extremely grateful. And we would like to introduce you guys to this amazing opportunity and just sort of answer a few questions and tell you a little bit more about how it works so you can understand and decide whether this might be something potentially you would like to join us with. Okay, so let's get stuck in. So it all starts, everybody, with these little bottles of plant-based wisdom, or magic, you might say. But the thing is they are not just magic. They are not bottles of snake oil or hippy dippy stuff. There is so much science behind these oils, and the research is growing and growing and evolving. And basically the world needs these bottles of essential oil. The problem is, the initial need is that we're struggling these days. Our society is very unwell. So many people live their life with chronic illness, and people have just got used to living their lives not feeling their best. People are desperate, and the shocking thing is that people are living shorter lives these days now. There's lots of factors that affect this. The food that we eat and the environments that we live in and our lifestyle choices, but all of those things together mean that as a society as a whole, we are struggling. 1 in 3 of us will get cancer in our lifetime, 1 in 3, and that is shocking. So, you know, people are becoming desperate, but also people are waking up to the fact that something needs to be done. And we are very lucky to have the medical profession and the medical industry, and it does save lives, but it's not always the answer. So come in essential oils, enter doTERRA. And what we do is we are so passionate about firstly educating people about these oils and empowering people to take ownership and responsibility of their own health, okay? If we don't have health, we don't have much else, okay? So this, for me, started as me, as a mother. I intuitively had this deep passion and need to look after my children in a natural way. For me, I always believed that nature was powerful, and that led me on a journey of lots of different alternative types of medicine, actually, because I wanted to protect them from chemicals, and I didn't want them to be exposed to anything that could harm them, or anything that had side effects, or anything that was addictive. And so, yes, I tried lots of different natural solutions, and essential oils I didn't really understand. For me, they're a bit of a nice smell on the pillow, but I didn't understand the true capacity of them. And then I got a bout of tonsillitis really badly, so badly I couldn't speak and I couldn't move my neck. And I was teaching music classes to babies and children at the time, and a very good friend of mine said, why don't you try these pure essential oils? They're supposed to be amazing. And I tried one of the oils that is one of doTERRA's favourites. It's called On Guard. It's the protective blend. And within 24 hours, I felt so much better. And that sparked something within me, because I thought, hang on a minute, if this means that there are products that I can use to protect my children and keep them well, and then there are also oils that I can use for pretty much every minor and even more major ailments, then that is really exciting and powerful, and that is a gift. So we got some oils, we brought them into our lives, and we started to use them, and we just fell in love with them, didn't we? You know, we became so excited that they were doing such wonderful things and everything that they said they were supposed to do and more. And we started to, you know, really fall in love with using them every day for our physical, but also our emotional wellness. And then it's like anything, isn't it? When you find something that you believe in that works for you, you almost can't help but share it with other people. So that happened very naturally for me, because let's face it, everybody's got something going on, whether it's physical or an emotional need, and there is literally an oil for everything. So I couldn't help but share it with people anytime that they came to me and said, oh, I didn't sleep well last night, or oh, I've got a sore head, or my digestion's not very good today. I'd say, oh, I think there's an oil for that. And I'd look it up in the book, and there was always several oils for that. And I would share some oil with them, and then they would come back to me, usually in utter disbelief at how they tried so many things and nothing had really helped, and how this had had such an impact. And I'm not going to lie, that made me feel really good, that I had something that could help other people. And so that's where it started. And now fast forward 3 years, we have actually blessed the lives of over 6,000 homes. They now have the oils, and they're extremely grateful for them in their lives. And also we have now found ourselves blessed to have a community of women and men who have joined us and who share the same vision as us to help and to heal. And so, yeah, we are absolutely so grateful to have the oils in our own lives, but also to be able to share them with others. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what an essential oil actually is for anybody who doesn't know, because if I'm honest, again, I really didn't understand what an essential oil was when I first started with doTERRA, because there's essential oils and there's homeopathy and then there's tinctures. And so essential oils are volatile aromatic liquids that are extracted from plants, from different parts of the plant, depending on what oil we're talking about, and they're very, very powerful. An example of that is 1 drop of this peppermint oil is equivalent to around 28 cups of peppermint tea. So often you need very, very little, and it will be incredibly powerful in the body. And the great thing about this is that it's the immune system of the plant. So we're able to tap into the immune system of the plant. And because plants are carbon-based, and so are we can actually use it to our own benefit. And of course, this is nothing new. Plants have been used as medicine since the beginning of time. You know, it's not a new concept, but people are starting to awaken to the idea of going back to nature. And even today, 25% of allopathic medicine begins with plants. So there's a big difference, you see, when it comes to essential oils. And this is the key thing that we really like to emphasize, in that 80% of essential oils on the market today are either adulterated or contaminated, okay? So we have to be really, really careful of this, because essential oils do get into the blood system and into the cells. So if we're not using a pure oil, it can be carrying contaminants or synthetics into our cells. And that's a huge shame. If we think that we're buying something that's really safe and natural, it can say it on the bottle. It's not a regulated industry. It can say it on the bottle when actually it can be far from what you believe it to be. So because of this, because doTERRA knew there was no government regulation, they created what's known as CPTG, which stands for Certified Pure Therapeutic Grade Essential Oils. So most essential oils on the market these days are fragrance. Our essential oils are more than that. They are a medicinal grade quality, and it equates to the purity and the potency mainly. So the purity, no other company is able to go to the same lengths or levels that doTERRA is going to create the purest essential oils on the planet. I stand very strong in that. I've been working and researching doTERRA oils for a long time now, and I have seen the levels and the lengths that they go to, the testing that they do over several different periods in the life of the essential oil before it is distributed out. And it is so thorough and rigorous and stringent, okay? So you can guarantee that there is no trace of anything else that has got into your bottles of essential oils, which is fantastic because they're pure. So you have the purity, but then also you have the potency. And there is a company called APRC, which is an independent third-party tester that tests many essential oils, and they test doTERRA essential oils. And we were at a recent convention in Salt Lake City in Utah, and the representatives from APRC stood up on the stage and quite happily said that these are the purest and most potent essential oils in the world. And it's so transparent that doTERRA actually publish their purity testing. You can log on to one of their websites, which I'll show you shortly, and on the bottom of every single bottle is a lot number where you can look up the GCMS testing, which is the gas chromatography mass spectroscopy testing. It's the purity testing. No other companies are going to these same levels. And actually, the fact that doTERRA is doing this is scaring other companies because they perhaps can't be quite so transparent. So they're going to so many lengths to ensure that you have the purity and the potency.
Yeah, I was just going to add to that, which was the Aromatic Plant Research Centre don't publish, they don't have to publish their results of any other essential oils that they test. That's up to the essential oil company. And doTERRA are the only company that allow the Aromatic Plant Research Centre to publish their findings of doTERRA pure essential oils. So no one else is transparent with their findings. So I think that tells you quite a lot about the quality of some of the other oils that they test, and they test a lot.
Yeah, we don't need to put other companies down, but we know how amazing ours are. And so the purity is one really key thing, but the other thing that's really important is the potency of the oils. So you can grow a plant in your greenhouse or even on your windowsill, but the immune system and the chemical compounds of that plant is going to be totally different from a plant that is sourced and grown in its indigenous natural habitat. It doesn't take an expert to understand that, does it? So our oils are sourced from all over the world where the plant grows in the best quality habitat. And doTERRA is taking everything into consideration. So the soil, the climate, the altitude, the region. As you can see on this map here, you've got frankincense from Oman and Somalia. You've got lavender from the French Alps and Bulgaria. I've been to Bulgaria where we source our lavender. I've seen the lengths that doTERRA go to. You've got lemons from Sicily. We were in Sicily 2 weeks ago and we got to see how doTERRA is sourcing lemons and the citrus fruit and green mandarin, and it was fantastic. And the other thing that's really, really lovely about this is they are choosing to work with small scale farmers and harvesters, family run businesses, not large chain suppliers. It would be much easier for doTERRA to work with larger organisations that buy in from suppliers, but then they wouldn't be able to have an impact on the lives of small communities. And this was part of their mission. So it's so beautiful to see the work that they are doing. If you're interested in the way that doTERRA test and source their oils, I would encourage you to log on to this website that you can see, Source to You, and you can look up the purity testing, and you can look up the sourcing, the co-impact sourcing method that they stand so strongly by. And you will understand that it's more than just a bottle of essential oil. It's about supporting and loving and honouring and respecting the people and the earth, and also the communities that are creating these essential oils for us. And I love that when I am buying an essential oil for myself and for my family, I know that it's not only having a really wonderful impact in our lives, but it's also impacting the places where it came from.
And also, just one more thing, slightly old this slide, there's some new countries around the world that are now doTERRA are sourcing from, and there's also should be a line there to the UK, because now they're sourcing, I think it's the Roman
chamomile, yes,
from the UK. So if you're just wondering, do they source anything from here in the UK? They do. They just started sourcing the Roman chamomile from the UK.
So they're very ethical and very responsible when it comes to their sourcing, and it's beautiful to see. And so the thing is that's very exciting about the oils, as I said before, is that this is not snake oil. Science is really leading the way, and doTERRA is a science-based company, and we work alongside many doctors and scientists and chemists and pharmacologists. And the exciting thing about essential oils is because they are made up of such fine compounds and molecules, because they are also fat-based. So standard medication, standard Western meds is water-based, but essential oils are fat-based, and so are our cells. So when we go to the doctor and we have a virus, for example, they can't do much for us. They'll tend to send us away, say drink lots of fluid and get some rest and let it pass. Yes, when we have a bacterial infection, we know that we can be given antibiotics because bacteria tends to float around the body. However, we obviously have seen the introduction now of a lot of antibiotic-resistant bacteria, superbugs, and the overuse of antibiotics sometimes means that they stop to work in the same way. And so doctors now are aware of the fact that we need to find another solution, and that they don't want to be prescribing antibiotics and some standard meds, let alone the side effects that they can cause and the fact that they might be addictive. And the exciting thing about the essential oils is they can penetrate the cells, so they can kill viruses within cells, and they can kill bacteria as well that floats around the body. And there's mounting scientific research on this. So if you're interested in the science behind it, go onto the doTERRA science blog. And also PubMed is a scientific journal, and just literally type in essential oils, type in lavender, type in frankincense. You will be amazed at the scientific research that you will find. I think on average they're publishing around 15 different pieces of research on PubMed every day on essential oils. So this is really, really exciting. Not only that, because our oils are so concentrated, less is so much more. You don't even need to use very much of them at all. And part of doTERRA's mission is not to say it's us or the opposition. That's not the mission. It's actually to see the merging of standard everyday medicine with traditional natural medicine. And we're seeing integration of traditional medicine into more modern day healthcare practices, which is really exciting. And it's very exciting to be part of this as well. And in America, they have just started to create some healthcare clinics. We've got 3 that are just opening in the new year, where you will see doctors prescribing essential oils, and we're soon to have one in the UK as well. So times are changing, and that is very, very exciting. Okay, so the other thing is the heart behind this company. So there is within doTERRA is the Healing Hands Foundation, and this is the charity work that we do all over the world. And I need to tell you, it's not just a small marketing ploy. This is again was part of their initial mission, was to give back. So we are able to raise communities. So we are all over the world. We are doing amazing projects to help communities and to help people. So you can see Tim on top right there. He visited Uganda earlier this year, and we were able to rebuild a shelter for people with polio and leprosy. And we raised $20,000, and half of that was funded by doTERRA. And they provided us with $2,000 worth of oils to teach the nurses how to use them on the people there that have polio and leprosy. You can see over on the right, after the earthquake in Nepal a few years ago, doTERRA did a huge mission to go and to help them to rebuild their lives. So they rebuilt homes. They actually built the only existing 2 earthquake resistant schools in Nepal. and they're constantly working with the communities. They're sourcing essential oils from these communities. So they have long-lasting contracts of work, and they're paying them more money than they have been able to earn before. So they're changing lives. doTERRA now employs over 96,000 people worldwide to work for them, harvesting and growing and working with the company. So that is touching the lives of nearly 500,000 people, if you take into consideration their families and their children and their grandparents. That is so exciting to be part of that. And as a mother myself, I'm really excited to teach my children that, to show them how to be good men and how to do good and be kind in the world. We support an organisation called Days for Girls, which teaches women and young girls about the sanctity and the beauty of a woman's body, and how to respect a woman's body. And we're teaching them and providing them with reusable sanitary equipment. In some of these countries where they've got some slightly dated beliefs and traditions, we are able to help to educate them. And so we partner up with amazing organisations like Days for Girls. And then you can see the bottle of hope oil. We support a company called Operation Underground Railroad, which is helping to save children from the sex trafficking industry. And that's a big thing. It's a huge issue in America and in this country as well. And the hope oil, 100% of the profits from the hope oil will go to Operation Underground Railroad. And it's not just about saving the children, it's then about helping to rebuild their lives afterwards, and supporting them and reintegrating them into society in their rehabilitation. So again, it's a beautiful thing, and doTERRA is doing this all over the world in many different countries. We've got different projects going on, and we're excited to do more of that, aren't we?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to tell us how it works?
I was going to say, we have children, and we often have to do these webinars and have to do trainings and classes and do our work around our children. And if you've got children, you're thinking, I don't think I could do this. You have to manage that all the time. We've got 3 of them upstairs now, and any one of them could come down at any point and interrupt us. But this is the lovely thing about this business, is children are very, very welcome to all the events. Actually, there's always children running around, and doTERRA is very inclusive of families. In fact, I would say it's a huge family business. That was a big deal for me, because I felt like I'd come home. I always wanted to be able to work around my children and around my family, and doTERRA is the vehicle that's allowed us to do that. And that's inspiring for other families and for other mothers. When I had Ziggy, I used to do a lot of my trainings, and I'd be feeding him whilst doing the training with the screens tilted up. Presentations and stuff with Ziggy, holding Ziggy, and and it was kind of, people just accept that that's part of it. And I love the fact that you can run a successful business and still be a parent at the same time. It's quite unusual in this.
Absolutely. Why should a mother have to think that they have to stay at home to raise their children and can't make a success of their lives? Because if we're able to make a success of our lives, it provides us with better lives for our children.
Anyway, so obviously that's taken up quite a while just to go back to the quality of the oils and the things that doTERRA do around the world. But it's important that that's your starting point when you do a business like this, that you have absolute faith in the company, and you have absolute belief in the oils and the product that you're sharing. This is fundamental to being successful in an MLM business. If your heart's not in the product, you're going to struggle to be able to do the business. So that's why we always start with the product. And this is what the first point here is, that the doTERRA is a product-based business. You'll often hear, when you talk about working for MLMs, you might hear, it's a pyramid scheme, it's that type of thing. And actually, pyramid schemes are more than often than not didn't even have a product behind them, and they're actually illegal as well. But it's very important to understand this is a viable product. It's very popular, and 85% of people that use doTERRA are customers, and that's a very important part of the business structure that doTERRA have created. just so you know, you might know this anyway, but you order online and the products are delivered to your home. You don't have to be walking around houses and delivering catalogues and collecting and delivering the oils to people. That's all done for you online, and anyone you introduce the oils to is connected to you. So when they enroll, they have a log-on number which relates to your ID number, and they kind of go into your organization underneath you, and you earn different commissions from them accordingly. And also then anyone that they introduce the oils to, or that person introduces the oils to, and you can see, and so on and so on and so on, is all connected to you at the top of your organization. So it's very important with these businesses that you get a good retention rate. And what that actually means is how many people actually order again. A lot of people will order something for the first time, but do they actually go back and dip their toes in the water the second time? And this is one of the reasons why Emily's just explained the quality of the oils. And the reason for these figures is that the oils actually work, and people get results from the oils and the supplements and all the products that they use. And so therefore they are and all the consumable products as well, they use them again and again and again. This is giving doTERRA a fantastic retention rate. As you can see, 64%. I mean, it might even be a little bit higher than that in certain cases. And there you can see the average retention rate for an MLM company is 13%.
Can I just interrupt you? MLM stands for multi-level marketing, if you didn't know what that means. And it's sort of the network marketing or direct sales industry, which, can I add, I never thought we would be involved in. And now we're hugely proud of what we do.
Yeah, we are. And so there you can see, 65% of doTERRA customers order in the first 3 months. 80% of doTERRA customers order at least once a year. And this was a figure that was bandied about at the convention in London recently, that 70% of all customers ever, which is 6.2 million, it's a little bit more than that now, ordered in the last 3 months. And this is very important. doTERRA is a debt-free company. So when you Google multi-level marketing companies or network marketing companies, something you will find that comes up quite a lot is these companies, they start their businesses and they're on trend and everyone's loving the oils or loving the product. And then all of a sudden these companies, they either go bust or they change their compensation plan, or things, they're not on point anymore, people aren't interested in the products anymore, and therefore it just disperses and people are kind of like, well, I've just spent 2 or 3 years building up my business and sharing these oils, starting to earn some money, and then the company decides to go somewhere else. And it's very important to understand that when doTERRA started, they were looking at investors, and they did go to certain companies and to invest in their business, but they made a decision, the founders made a decision that they weren't going to borrow any money whatsoever. So they remortgaged their homes, they sold some of their possessions, and they started this company with borrowing absolutely not a penny. And when you consider this company is now worth over $1 billion, then they're all right. So there's probably not going to be any collapsing of the company. So that's very reassuring, that you must be aware that there's no
but I think this says it all. 64% of people will buy again in their first 3 months, and the average network marketing retention rate is 13% of people will buy again in their first 3 months, and 80% of doTERRA customers will order again in a year. So as Tim said, the products work and people want to keep using them.
I don't know where you are in your business, whether you have oils on you or whether you're just coming on here and you haven't got any oils, but there is a sort of loyalty reward scheme with the oils. So if you're a regular customer, it's like nectar points, or you build up points if you order regularly, and that equates to being able to buy more oils. So that's one of the reasons for the great retention rate. Okay, so there you can see just some figures of the doTERRA's growth. I'll be very quick with this, but I really wanted you to understand the size of this company and how quickly it's moving. It is the biggest essential oil company in the world. It's only been going for 10 years. And Europe in 2017 was doTERRA's fastest growing region. I know some of the figures from 2018 are very impressive, and we'll wait to find out for the whole year at the end of this year. There's more customers joined in March 2018 than in all 2013 and 2014 combined. And the UK has the most sales in Europe. The forecast for this year is to triple. There's warehouses, because what happened as they were growing so quickly, they had to open new warehouses. So now they have a huge warehouse near Heathrow, another one in the Netherlands, and now they've got all the latest stacking equipment and able to share the oils and post them out easily. So now that's very kind of succinct and works very well. They have offices in Milton Keynes, which has been there for a couple of years or a year.
It's just over a year.
This is like a corporate office where you can go, where you've got your finance and you've got your customer services and you've got all the help that you need, anyone you want. They're now opening another one in Munich because obviously the company is growing so much. The brand awareness is just because obviously they're a few years behind America. America started 4 years before Europe, and they can see the trends that are going on in America, and Europe is very much following those trends. And this is about the time when the TERRA as a brand starts to become aware in the UK. And this is my favourite figure. I think this is just so explains that the speed of the growth of doTERRA is that $5.1 billion market, the essential oils market, is worth $5.1 billion in 2017 as a whole market, and doTERRA are the largest share of that market with 23%. In just 10 years they've become the largest market leader in essential oils, and that's because people are getting really good results from the oils.
And that's great, actually, because now is a fantastic time to come into this, because as Tim said, people are aware of doTERRA, they've heard they're great, but it is by no means saturated.
Yeah, which leads beautifully, Emily, onto this slide. So is the market saturated? And here's a little stat for you. So Europe has a 0.03 market penetration rate. The UK is slightly higher, 0.06. So this is in Europe. So out of 10,000 people in Europe, only 3 people actually have an account. Now, Australia, which has been going a little bit longer, has a 1.49% market penetration rate. That's 149 to every 10,000 people. So if we had the same penetration rate as Australia in Europe, we would be 50 times bigger than we are today, with a 7.5 billion pound revenue, a yearly revenue. So when you talk about the market being saturated, it's quite clearly not, as there's quite a lot of people that haven't got accounts yet in Europe and in the UK.
And there's such a growing need for the oils in people's lives. So yeah.
Very quick chart just to explain the growth of doTERRA over the last few years. You can see 16 million was the gross turnover in 2015. It's now 68 million in 2017, and I'm sure in 2018 it probably hit the 100 million mark, maybe a lot more.
Amazing. Okay, so this is exciting as well. So the doTERRA oils are 96% exclusive to doTERRA, which means nobody else can use our oils. Okay, so when we visited the distillery in Sicily last week, the only people that buy their essential oils from them are doTERRA. No one else is able to have access to the quality of essential oils that we have access to. So other companies can try to replicate, but they can't. And I often hear, oh yes, the essential oils, I get essential oils of a very good quality, but are they going to the same lengths and levels to create the oils that I explained to you earlier? Sadly, often not. It costs too much money and it's not an easy process. So there is such a big difference, and doTERRA are the leaders for this very reason. Okay, so.
Oh, right. So I was going to say, so now it's about how does this actually equate to actually earning money in doTERRA. So we'll talk about the compensation plan. That's basically the plan that how you get paid, how you earn commissions, and how it works. And here's a short video which doTERRA have made, which explains it probably better than I can. So I'm just going to play this, and you can just watch this, and I'll just explain a bit more at the end of it.
Okay.
The purpose of this video is to help you understand the doTERRA compensation plan. There are 5 basic ways you can achieve this: retail profit, or through a series of bonuses, fast start, power of 3, unilevel, and bonus pools. Retail profit. When you sell a product at retail price, you earn the difference between the retail price and wholesale price. This equates to approximately 25% of everything that you sell at retail price. There are some common acronyms you will hear, and these are used to calculate the second income stream, which is called Fast Start. PV stands for product volume. CV stands for commissionable volume. Every product is given both a PV value and a CV value. Commissions are then calculated on CV. Fast Start allows all wellness advocates to earn a bonus on individuals they share essential oils with, and then help to enroll. For each person you enroll, doTERRA will pay you 20% of the CV on anything they purchase within the first 60 days. For example, you tell your friend Jenny about doTERRA, and let's say her enrollment order has a CV value of 200. You would receive a Fast Start bonus on that order of £40. For every further order Jenny makes in her first 60 days, you will receive 20% of the CV value from these purchases, and this is paid weekly. Fast Start bonus payments are made to 3 generations of enrollers. You would earn 20% of the CV value for being Jenny's enroller, 10% on anyone she enrolls, and 5% on anyone her enrollee then enrolls. In review, for their first 60 days, you earn 20% of the CV from anyone you enroll. Anyone they enroll, you earn 10% of the CV, and you'll earn 5% of the CV on your third level. The third way you have potential to generate income is through the Power of 3 bonus. It works like this. If 3 of your front line achieve a minimum of 100 PV within a given month, and this group's combined total exceeds 600 PV, doTERRA will pay a bonus of $50, which is about £38, dependent on the current exchange rate. If you help those 3 people on your front line do exactly the same thing, then you will receive a $250 bonus. Now, if you help their teams to also achieve the same, the bonus increases to $1,500. Here is another graphic to explain. You earn $50 for your first level, $250 for your second level, and $1,500 for your third level. doTERRA's main bonus is called the Unilevel Organizational Bonus, and is perhaps the most generous and unique plan available. All accounts after 60 days are placed in a Unilevel system, and you earn an increasing rate of commission on each level down through 7 levels based on CV value. You will earn 2% on the first level and continue to earn more throughout up until the 7th level. Most other plans start you out on a higher percentage rate at the beginning, and as levels deepen, you earn a lower percentage, meaning overall less income for you. Unlike many other compensation plans, with doTERRA, you actually make the most on the most and the least on the least. As you can see by this example, doTERRA's compensation plan has built-in dynamic compression, which simply means that you're paid on a true 7 levels of sales. If someone doesn't purchase within your organization, the levels below them roll up, so you continue to receive income from 7 levels. The final bonus comes from bonus pools. These pools are available to those that rank Premier and above each month. The amount that one can earn from these pools depends on the rank that is hit in a given month. Therefore, to summarize, there are 5 basic ways to generate income with doTERRA. Retail profit, Fast Start, Power of 3, Unilevel, bonus pools. You can start earning immediately and on a weekly basis when embracing the Fast Start bonus. Unilevel commissions are paid down 7 levels, increasing your percentage earned the deeper you go. Dynamic compression skips inactive levels for the best commissions. And finally, building a residual income with doTERRA is helped by a 65% customer retention rate, far exceeding the direct sales industry average. This means that once you build your business, it makes it more feasible to both maintain and grow. doTERRA is a sharing company, and our compensation plan truly rewards people with products that they want and need in their everyday life. Our mission is to change the world, one drop, one person, one community at a time.
Great.
Okay.
I hope that sort of gives you a little brief understanding of how the compensation plan works. Obviously, it can be you can look into it a little bit more, but that's a very nice way of introducing you to the compensation plan. Just wanted to pick up on this slide that was shown during that video, which was about the fact you get paid more percentage on commission the lower down your organization levels you are. This is what's different to a lot of other multi-level marketing companies that tend you to pay a higher percentage at the top. I just wrote this figure down here at the bottom. You can see if it was the other way around and it was 2% on level 7, that £22,963 would only be £7,000. And that's the generous compensation plan that I was talking about.
Yeah, so it pays out more on a larger area of people, basically.
Like we said at the beginning, most of people, our customers, are 85%, and they're all going to be people that are going to be on your lower levels, your 6th or 7th level, which is where you want to earn the most commission.
Yes, and we do trainings on all of this. So don't worry if this went over your head. I'm not a graphs person. I'm not particularly a figers person either.
This is a learn about the business webinar, isn't it?
Yeah, so but you don't have to be. I just wanted to tell you, you don't have to be to do well in doTERRA. And we do provide lots of training on this side of it. But you don't have to know it all to begin with. You just need to get started and you'll just learn it and pick it up as you go. That's what I found for sure. Actually, so this is a great chart. I don't really like charts, but I like this one. So when I first saw this chart, I looked at the figures at the bottom at £9,000 to £24,000 a month, £20,000 to £80,000 a month, and I must admit I was a bit like, yeah, whatever, that's not going to happen. That's dream world. But I looked at the top and I thought, well, that looks quite nice. A monthly income of Premier, which is the red one, £200 to £500 a month. Well, we could do with that at the time. Our background is we were both in the theatre business. We were both actors. And that would really help us to pay our mortgage, to be honest. So I thought, well, that might be quite nice on top of the other work that we had going on. And we had a lot of other work going on, didn't we? When we started doTERRA, we had very little time. However, I reached this Premier rank. It says here 10 months. I actually reached it by my 3rd month. So this rank chart is the timings of my upline, the person that introduced me to doTERRA. So I reached Premier by my 3rd month. Then Silver, which is below that, I reached that in 6 months. And then by 14 months, I was Diamond. As you can see, it took them 26 months. It took us 14 months to be Diamond. And now we're sitting at Blue Diamond and working towards Presidential. And so these figures are really, really, they're quite accurate, aren't they?
Yeah,
would you say? They're very accurate.
When you hit a level for the first time, which is why you've got two different figures here. The first time you hit a rank, if it's the first time, you're likely to be on the lower end of each of these figures. And if you stay on that rank for a long time, which you will do before you get to the next one, or some of the ranks, you're building up more customers and earning more unilevel. And that's why it's between 2 numbers and not just one set number.
And so this has changed our lives massively, and we're hugely grateful for it. Tim's been able to leave his job. Our children are now able to go to a school that we can afford to send them to. We have way more time together as a family. We just don't have to worry about money anymore. And with the excess, we can do the things that are important to us. So yeah, it's been an amazing journey. So within our community, our blooming and glowing community, or our tribe, as we like to call ourselves, you get so much support. It's what's really lovely about this business, isn't it? It's the support that we get. I just was upstairs seeing to Ziggy, and I got a lovely message from one of our team who was just basically saying thank you for all the support and how fulfilled and excited she's feeling about the future. And that is really lovely feeling for me as well. So we have a whole training program. We do our trainings online, a bit like this, on Tuesday evenings usually, don't we? We have lots of recorded trainings. We have a Trello business builders page, so it gives you so much information about literally how to start this business. And the Empowered Success series, which is, you can see part of it there, the build guide, the green document. doTERRA have provided an amazing training series within the main website as well. So literally you have so much information to get going with this business, and just be a sponge and absorb it and get those oils out there to people and start changing lives. It's really not hard, and it's so duplicable. We have a builders page for our team that are sharing the oils. We call ourselves the tribe. So we have a Facebook group with loads of help and support. And then we also have a WhatsApp page, what would you call it, a WhatsApp group on our phones. It is busy. The notifications go off a lot. So I always say to people, turn the notifications off. But that's just really handy if you're out and about sharing the oils and somebody has a migraine, for example, and you've just started with the business and you don't really know what oil to suggest. You can type it into the WhatsApp and somebody lovely from our tribe will help you. And it's a really lovely community of people who are very aligned and share the same vision and want to see each other do well. And that's quite nice. You know, life can sometimes be a little bit isolating and scary, and to find a community of people sharing the same passion is a really lovely thing. And also we get so much support from corporate, don't we?
Yeah.
As leaders, we are actually UK founders, and we are obviously Blue Diamond, so we're leaders within Europe. We have a very close relationship with corporate, and they are growing so fast, but they just want to help us to do our thing. And they are really helping us in so many ways. The gates are being opened, and make it just getting easier and easier to do what we do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
obviously just with the oilers group out as well, which is, I put that on there because when somebody is a customer and they do order and they get some oils, they are invited to come onto a Facebook group called the Oilers Group, which is just it's just got customers on there, and they can ask questions and find out how the people are getting on, and it kind of encourages them as well. And
it's a community
for a community for customers, basically.
People that are using it, and we help with that and support them as well. So
you've got that as well to invite customers to, and
that helps with your residual income as well. So initial investment, this is what I think is quite exciting. I mean, as I said, we ran music classes for babies and children, and our initial investment was £11,000 to buy a franchise. And within 6 months, doTERRA totally overtook what we were earning within our music franchise. And then obviously, as you can see from the figures we just showed you, totally replaced it. And now we don't do that business anymore because we don't need to. So the initial investment with doTERRA is actually, for a business that can earn you crazy figures like that, is so low. So all you would need to get is some oils to allow you to share them with other people. These are like your business tools. You have to become a product of what you're sharing. And so you have to use them yourselves, and you have to believe in them. And they're amazing. So you're going to love having them in your life. So you'd need an oil kit. A lot of people start with the Home Essentials kit, and that's just the kit that most customers start with. So you don't need to be spending thousands and thousands of pounds investing in product. You need a fractionated coconut oil, which is a carrier oil. It's £12. Lasts for ages. A book, so you can start learning a bit and doing your research within that.
Well, there's an app you can get on your phone as well. It's about £6, which is similar to the book as well.
Yeah, some sample bottles, so you can share the oils, and we tend to sample people with about 10 drops of an oil, so they get a positive experience for their digestive issue or their headache. And again, we provide lots of training and guidance in that area as well. So that total costs about £270.
The Home Essentials kit's a little bit more expensive now, so I didn't update this slide. So if anyone does purchase all of that, and it works out a little bit more. I'm so sorry. It's probably about £10 more now. I do apologise. I haven't updated it.
Bad, sack him.
But at least I've told you.
And then on top of that, there is a monthly spend that you need to do through your account. Okay, so this is almost it's to buy products, so it's to buy oils to replace your oils, because you'll be using them yourself and you'll be sharing them with people. And also, you know, if you might be using some of the consumable products that you spend your money on anyway, like toothpaste, laundry detergent, shampoo, conditioner, supplements, because it's about lifestyle wellness. Okay, so it's not just about the oils here and there in your life, it's about living a wellness lifestyle and integrating the oils and the products into your everyday lives and making your lives better because of it, upgrading. So you would be doing a spend through your account every month of 100 PV or points. You learned a little bit about points in the video, but that's points are a little bit like dollars. It's doTERRA currency, because doTERRA is all over the world, but it equates to similar to dollars. So 100 PV is roughly around 80 to 90 pounds per month. And you can choose whatever you want to buy through your account. And this enables you to earn commission. Now, I actually, when we first started, I had to borrow the money off my mum for my kit because I didn't have a spare £250 lying around. And then we decided we were going to commit to the monthly spend and commit to ourselves and an investment in ourselves, in our business, to hold ourselves accountable. So I did my first order, then the next month I did my spend. But because I got going and started sharing some oils and did a class, my upline came and taught an oils class for me, for my friends, and then they loved the oils. Then the commission that I got actually covered the cost of my monthly spend the month after that. And then it just grew and grew and grew. So by my third month, I'd covered my costs and I started seeing a real investment in my initial outlay and lots of money coming back. And that was really exciting. And that's just because I was sharing the oils. So the oils really and the spend are for your personal use, but also as your business tools. I see my monthly spend as like my rental for my, we don't have a shop. It's almost like your rental payment. And it's important that you do this because it's holding yourself accountable and taking yourself and your business seriously. And it's an investment into yourself and into your business.
Just remember the compensation plan they spoke about the fast start, which is the commission that's paid on a weekly basis, which is the 20% of anything that you sell. Well, if you were to be doing classes when you started off, you would only need to maybe do four or five kits in that month, and that would cover your spend, and that's not including any other bonuses that you might get moving forward.
We wanted to add some testimonials from our lovely tribe, some of the things that they feel about doTERRA and about being part of our community. And so Jasmine talked about the fact she's never come across anything like this before, and doTERRA's vision for integrated healthcare, education and empowerment is something that she feels so strongly aligned with, and how heart-centered the company are. And Karina said, she decided before her first oils order had even arrived that she wanted to do the business because they were like nothing she'd ever tried before, and the business option was simple, and she wanted to cover the cost of her initial purchase, which she did within 2 months. Charlie said it's about the power of the oils and the peace of mind knowing that she was building an additional income stream on her terms. She's a photographer, but she said, what if I break my arm? Then what? Preparing for impact in a positive way. And KJ, who's one of our lovely nutritionists within our team, said she'd been using essential oils for many years in her practice with another company, but her trust was broken with that company, so she had to change brands, and she's so pleased she did, even though she had to build a new downline, and she's so grateful for the support. And Laura said, the icing on the cake was the opportunity to create residual income. I've always been appalled that as women, we generally have to pause our careers to have children. And I've witnessed how disempowering that can be. With doTERRA, this opportunity allows us to embrace this time. And I feel so grateful to be able to help empower other women in this way. So it's amazing. So I just wanted to round up by telling you a very quick story called Buckets versus Pipelines. And it's about a man that lived in a village, and this village had no running water. And this one man, he had a bucket. So he used to traipse up to the foothills of a mountain to find a spring. He'd fill up his bucket with water and he'd traipse back to the village and he would sell that bucket for quick cash. And he provided himself with quite a good income from doing that, but he had to work hard every day. There was another guy that saw what he was doing and he also had a bucket, but he had a different plan. So he decided to do the same, but to take his time. And on the way, he would dig, and he started to dig a trench. You know, everyone thought he was crazy and mad. Why doesn't he just go to the spring, get the water, bring it back and sell it? But he had a vision. So he took his time and he had to navigate the stones and the rough ground along the way. But eventually he was able to dig himself a trench that reached the spring and lay a pipeline back to the village. And finally he was able to turn on a tap that provided fresh, clear, crisp, clean running water for the village. And of course, then he was providing himself with residual income for himself and his family for the future, and that would outlive him. So that kind of is the same concept as doTERRA. It's about creating your own pipeline. And so many of us these days are caught up in work that we have no passion for, just doing it to pay the bills because we don't see that there are other options. And I just want to let you know that there are other options, and we are testament to that. And it's not like you have to leave your job to start doTERRA. You can just do it on the side and watch how it grows, and then eventually you may, if you want to, be able to step away. But the nice thing about doTERRA is it's something for everybody. So some people just want to cover the costs of having the oils in their life for free. That's all they want. That's enough for them. Some people want to supplement their income, like by £200 to £500, like I showed you. That was where I started. That's what I thought would be nice. And other people end up totally replacing their income and way more, and really changing their lives and the lives of others. And our story is that 2.5 years ago, just after I'd started doTERRA, we were both working really hard with our music classes, and Tim was working in the theatre in Phantom of the Opera. And so I never used to see him in the evenings, and we only had one day off together as a family every week. And then I was just about due to have our third baby, Ziggy, and they decided to do a refresher of the show. And Tim had been there for 5 years, and then a new director came in. They decided to let some people go, and Tim was one of them. And we didn't know what we were going to do. I look back now and it was a total blessing in disguise, wasn't it? But at the time it was quite scary because we didn't know how we were going to pay our bills. So Tim decided that he would go back to the company and say, look, I know there's another position still going, and it was a lower position with less money. Could I potentially do that? Would you consider me for that role? And they made him audition, and then they made him wait, and then finally they said, yes, you can do that position. So then Tim had to go and sit in a dressing room with the guy that took his role, and go into work where he probably wasn't feeling that driven to be there for a whole year. But we said to ourselves at the time, didn't we, let's do this for 1 year. Let's work really, really hard and create ourselves our own pipeline, so we don't have to answer to anybody else ever again, and we are in control of our own destiny. So a year went by. We worked really hard. I worked hard doing classes and, juggling family life. But then by the end of that year, when Tim was then offered to stay on, he was actually able to say, thank you very much, but I'm going to be leaving, and I'm going to go and join my wife. And so thank you for the opportunity, but no. And then last September, you came and joined me. I mean, you were helping me from the beginning, weren't you? But now we have way more time together as a family. We have way more time with our children to see them grow up. We went away to France for 1.5 months in the summer. We're able to travel the world with the boys as well, and we have financial security. We're able to send them to a school that I only dreamt that they might be able to go to, where they're outdoors and they climb trees, and they're really happy. So for me, that is what doTERRA stands for. It stands for hope, and it stands for freedom. It stands for people allowing themselves to dream big again. And it's freedom physically, if you're using the oils, emotionally, spiritually perhaps, but also financial freedom. And when you have that freedom, You really do have the reins of life. So if this is speaking to you guys, you know, listening to your inner sat nav, your inner guidance, and it may be worth you giving this a go, because you can always start and stop, but at least then you've tried it. But if you don't open yourself up to the possibility of what could be, you might never know, and you might never be able to experience the limitless potential that you actually have within yourself. So, you know, if we can do this, we're just two normal people, you know, who are passionate and who've worked hard. If we can do this, anybody can do this. So that's it, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much sums it up. And I was just thinking then, you know, when we started, when we were probably, if we were listening to this, you know, 3 years ago, we'd have sat there and we'd have been skeptical about what people were saying and what people can earn. And of course, they're going to say this, and of course they're going to say that. But we've lived it now. We've been through the journey, and we're very invested in it. And we've seen it happen not just to us, but to lots of our friends and to lots of people. So we you know, we're very much believe in it.
Yeah, and we're very passionate about helping our team to achieve the same things and let their dreams become a reality. So hopefully, if you'd like to join us, we'll be supporting you too.
Shall we stop the recording and then ask us any questions?
Yeah, that's lovely. Okay, so I'll stop the recording. Good evening if you're watching this. Good night. Goodbye.
Good night.